Welcome back to the Heat Check Podcast. I am your host, Chris Patrick. This is episode 31 of the Heat Check Podcast. We're recording this on Saturday, July 27th, 2024, here in the Valley Sports Plug Studios. Man, and I am happy to be back. A little late in the month of July, but we still got to get a July episode out for you, so expect that earlier as well. I mean, you're watching it, so you know. Anyway, I got my co-hosts here with me. We have the boat captain for the U.S. Olympic team in Paris, VSP Tallman.
God damn, I thought that was going to be Mike.
He wanted to say dream
I gotta be
team,
the boat.
too.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
I can't read my own
man.
handwriting here. It's really bad. But yeah, I did want to say dream team. Should have just rolled with it. But that other voice that you hear is the professional Gatorade mixer, Michael Benjamin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
How we
let's
doing,
go.
people? You need something? Glacier freeze? I got you.
He's got you. He does all the mixing. Any championship you've ever seen where a coach gets a Gatorade bath, Mike mixed it.
I wanted to be the blue guy in the the opening ceremony.
You should have been. You got the beard for it.
Yeah. No, that's the lady, or the man in the dress with the beard.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of weird shit in the opening
Did you see the
of
thing
the Olympics.
about the guy in the background where his nuts came out?
I did.
Yeah,
I actually did. I did see that.
Where it was like one shot, it was like no nuts, and then he turned, and then his nuts slipped out. There's like a perfect picture of his nutsack. Like,
That's actually your screensaver now, isn't it? All right, so we're less than 2 minutes into the podcast already talking about nuts. We're off to a great start here, fellas. But guys, if you don't know, if this is your first time listening to the Heat Check Podcast, this is a monthly in-person podcast recording we do here for Valley Sports Plug, the only in-person podcast we have for the time being. We do a whole lot of stuff. We do a live stream pretty much every week. We do recaps of the Arizona Cardinals, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Phoenix Suns every 2 weeks for baseball and basketball, every week for football. So make sure you're checking that out on our YouTube channel. Google Valley Sports Plug and you will find us. I guarantee it, you will. You can also find us on all social medias at AZ_VSP. That's Instagram, TikTok, X.com, formerly known as Twitter, and Threads even. You can check us out on Threads. So guys, are you about ready to get into it?
We ready.
Let's do it.
Well, okay, I'll go off the train.
we're not ready yet.
Hold on, we're not ready.
I'm on the train.
We did.
on the train.
Hold on, we did promise VSP Tallman that we would not talk Phoenix Suns basketball
What?
on this podcast.
No Phoenix Suns.
But
I'm not. I would have been.
Hold on,
I would have
hold
been
on.
okay with that.
Huge signing today by the Phoenix Suns and Tyus Jones. Make sure you guys are staying in tune for our YouTube page this week, where we will have a Pass the Outlet. We're going to talk all about that. Trust me, stay locked in. But that's not the main reason I wanted to talk before we jump into it, guys. I come bearing gifts.
Oh,
I come
okay.
bearing gifts. So hold on. We're going to start with VSP
is it
Tallman on this
Coors
first
Light?
one.
Oh, we both
I mean,
get
it could
gifts?
be.
Oh, he's hit a home
Could
run
be. Corbino.
off a left-handed
Hey.
pitcher.
All right.
Wow. Okay, sorry, Mike.
Tallman, you already got one over there.
Okay, I'll close
but
my
I
eyes.
was doing a little bit of digging through my old stuff recently, and I found a little mini tech deck for you, my guy. Look at that.
Look at that.
I know it doesn't
adorable.
have the
It is adorable.
what do you call these over here?
Is this?
I called them training wheels. They're like these little plastic finger grip things on
Is
this.
this a
tech
skateboard
deck
for
here.
ants?
Pretty much.
This is incredible.
And then of course
Thank
we're not
you,
gonna
Michael.
leave the
You're
leader
so
out
kind.
here, okay? We're not gonna leave
If
the
his
leader
gift's
out
better
here.
than mine, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh god damn it! He gets fucking.
better than you.
I'm out of here.
What are those?
I get a fucking inch-long skateboard.
It's
What are
about
those?
time, brother. It's
Oh,
about
that's-
time.
all right.
He
Does
has
that say
joined the
book
club.
chapter
Let's
1
go.
on
All right,
it?
let's see those motherfuckers.
Yeah, bust them out first. So this is the newest colorway, the Barely Grape.
Oh, I was about
The
to talk
light
shit about
purple,
those when you sent that picture.
Metallic purple swoosh. Super clean. I really like those. We also did see that they're finally coming out with an actual Phoenix Suns colorway. So that's exciting. They got an all pink one coming out too, giving some Ant Pearl vibes.
Who's Ant
But yeah,
Pearl?
Tallman, I didn't want to leave you out to dry, so I figured a little
those
mini
are cool.
tech deck was similar to D books, right? Okay, probably.
It's
not,
like when you forget to buy a Christmas gift. You're like, all right, what in my house could I just like re-gift and give to somebody?
No, these are legit.
thanks,
Mike,
Mike.
I cannot thank you enough. This is incredible. I have another one.
Another one?
Another one.
Ketel?
Another
Let's go,
one.
baby.
Ketel
Two
with
run.
a 2-run. Is he crying? Guys, we're watching the Arizona Diamondbacks game 2 against the Pirates. They won game 1, I think it was 4-3, and now they're up 4-1 in the bottom of the second. So, man, that's exciting.
Well, hold on. Okay, the last thing I'll say before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Tallman, if you do remember, I did say I was going to get Chris a pair before. I did get you yours, so don't worry.
No, I don't.
They're coming.
I'm good. Don't worry.
Tallman,
No, it doesn't matter if you're good or not. It's coming.
No,
you could
okay.
probably skate in these, Tallman.
I don't think you'd want to skate in those.
I mean, you wouldn't want. You could.
We did, like, before they dropped, we saw people skating in them. We saw people skating in the 2000 orange pairs.
Oh, that's criminal.
That one hurt my soul, but...
Ay. Well, Mike, oh my goodness, I cannot thank you enough. Guys, these are in my size. They're not in Mike's size, so I will be able to wear these.
That's good. Yeah, they're not freakishly,
but now I'm gonna
freakishly large.
But now I have to decide if I actually want to play in them or if I want to just keep them on ice or what I'm going to do. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with these beautiful book ones.
You should wear them.
I absolutely love them. Mike wore his book ones in the door. I watched him come into the studio with those on.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, guys, holy shit. That's incredible. I'm kind of speechless right now. I fucking love it.
All right,
but
hands off to Michael.
We do have plenty to talk about. We're gonna lead off with the Arizona Diamondbacks as we watch them play the Pirates. We're in the home stretch. We're past the All-Star break. We've talked about it a little bit on some podcasts over the last couple weeks, but we made some moves. We got AJ Puck from where is he from? Miami?
Marlins, yeah.
Marlins, yeah.
Puck yeah, baby. Puck yeah.
Some news we probably won't talk about, but former Diamondback Jazz Chisholm just got traded to the New York Yankees. So the rich get richer, as we know. The Yankees, they got that money to spend. That's going to be interesting. Gonna love to talk to Ian about that. But Cardinals training camp also started, I think, earlier this last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure, but plenty to talk about as we gear up. Tallman, we're not going to do our predictions for the season yet. Next month. Let's pump the brakes.
Why do you guys keep saying that?
Because you wanted to do it in May.
Yeah.
How about we do it right now on the fly?
Well, hold on a second.
I think that was.
I do think that was last year. He was really, really pushing last year.
Yeah.
He wanted it.
Yeah.
It squeaked out for this year, but I think he knew how we were going to react. So
right.
He didn't go too heavy in it. But yeah, I know he's chomping at the bit to get those predictions out.
Dude, my bit is chomping.
It's coming, man. Don't worry.
Yep.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, enough of the plugs, enough of the gifts. As great as it is, and as much as I love it, I'm just gonna be manhandling these the whole show. But fellas, let's just dive right into it with the Diamondbacks. Tallman also made a proclamation that he's gonna be popping some champagne.
Oh, we popping
as soon as we get our starting pitching rotation
poppy
in full health, and it looks like it's gonna be coming down the pipe as we got news that Merrill Kelly and Eduardo Rodriguez are throwing simulation games. Does that get your juices flowing?
I'm pumped. So excited.
Oh baby.
Oh yeah.
So I think probably still a couple weeks out, maybe a month. Hard to say, but
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, because Kelly came out and said mid August you're gonna see him again. So.
That sounds about right. I mean, Mike, Merrill Kelly is no spring chicken, so it might take him a little bit longer to get geared up and going. But guys, as of today, the Diamondbacks have won 7 of their last 10. They're on a roll. Tallman, I guess I'll ask you first. Like, how big of an impact are those two going to have right away coming into a team that's already hot?
It's gonna be huge. I mean, it's gonna be must-watch TV. So you think about the series that we have right now with the Pirates, right? So we have fought today. And then I said this earlier. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna get our first sweep since May against the Pirates," right? I said that, and then I went into the restroom, and then I was doing the biz, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot." Tomorrow on Sunday, we have the rookie Diaz. No, what's his
Yilber?
name? Yilber Diaz. Yeah, so he's
Yilber,
pitching tomorrow, right? So we're probably gonna lose that game.
Hey,
hey,
come on. Now.
So yeah. So. But it's huge because right now, I mean, you have Gallen. He did get smacked up a little bit yesterday early on, but we were able to come back and win that game at the end. But he's okay. Montgomery's been promising on his first game since his return. Brandon Pfaadt, like I've said it a couple times on the streams, I said he's pitching like our ace right now. And then Ryan Nelson has given you quality start after over the last couple weeks. So. I mean, if those two guys come back and they're the real deal or what we expected, I mean, we know what to expect out of Kelly. We haven't even seen Eduardo Rodriguez, right? So we don't even know what to expect.
Well, do we know what to expect from Kelly though? Because he hasn't played all season. Do we can't. I don't know if we can necessarily expect him to pick up right where
he
he
played at the beginning.
Kelly has.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, excuse me.
So he just
Eduardo's
got-
been out all year.
Eduardo hasn't played at all. So it's like he's the mystery man, you know. So, but I mean, when they come back, it's like you push Ryan Nelson out. Ryan Nelson's been great. He's going to be the odd man left out, you know, the one looking in. So it's going to be huge. So this is when it happens. That's why I said we're going to pop champagne, right? Because when coming into this season, this team was supposed to be built around. I'm squeaking on the
very
wall.
squeaky right
Sorry,
now.
my bad. This team was supposed to be. It was supposed to be built around pitching, right? We had our bullpen set up. You know, we knew who our high leverage guys were, and then we had our starting five set. So we were supposed to be one of the most elite pitching teams in the league, and it just did not happen that way. But the fact that we are where we are right now with all the pieces that we have had hurt and injured and that we haven't been able to use, it's incredible. So the impact is going to be huge, and this team's going to get hot at the right point.
Do you think it's going to be huge and immediate, or is it going to take some time for those guys to get up to a couple starts before they really start finding their rhythm?
No, I think it's. I mean, you saw when Gallon came back, right? So it took him a little bit to get back. I mean, Montgomery obviously he figured it out. Granted, he was on he was limited to only like 70 pitches, and
He didn't even have a rehab game though. He came right back into the
And he also
fray.
was only out for what, like 3 weeks?
Yeah,
it was only
well, and
3
same with
weeks,
and same with Gallon. Gallon wasn't out for a super long time
so,
either.
I mean, it's hard to say about Rodriguez because I have no idea. But Kelly, I mean, the guy, he was our ace through the postseason last year. So I'm not worried about him. I think that will be immediate, but the question mark is Rodriguez. I mean, watch the guy come out and just be an absolute monster, and so that would just spark this team into somewhere it's never been, and I think it's coming at the right time. It's very, very promising.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Mike, are you optimistic that the bats will be able to continue the pace that they've been on recently as we get our starting pitching healthy? Because that's been the crux of this team, right? Is that when the pitching is on, the bats aren't, and vice versa. But now that the bats are hot, the pitching has been decent. Will we be able to take it to a whole nother level? Did Randall Grichuk just?
He just hit a home run.
I was about to say they're checking the tape right now. I think I'm optimistic.
As you talk about the bats,
I think you have to be optimistic, right? Because
Let's
this
see.
team is still kind of platooning the way that they
that's
do on the offense, right? The home run seems to be getting a little bit more involved with this club right now. We were talking about what they were going to do at the trade deadline in regard to adding another big bat, and guys just seem to be stepping up. Like Ketel Marte is en route to 30 home runs this year.
Okay.
Jock Peterson, Tallman was just talking about it before we started. He's almost played himself into the point of having to play every day with how heavy his bat has been right now. But Randall Grichuk has been hitting crazy against left-handed hitters. Once again, shout out Tallman. He was saying probably top 20, top 15 in the league so far this
but
season.
he hasn't played a lot of games.
Hasn't played a lot.
That's why
but
his average is
when you're
280.
given the opportunities, right, within that time frame and you're seizing them, I mean, hats off to you, right? That's what a professional does. So positive. You have to be positive just by the way that this team has been securing wins over the past month and a half, it seems like, as well, right?
Yeah.
Our last recap that we talked about, it seems like we've been kind of getting early leads and being able to hold as needed. And sometimes it might be a tied game. We're getting runs late and then kind of shutting the door. Obviously, we had our little stretch with Paul Sewald, but let's talk about the positive here, because I'm talking about optimism for these bats, and I got a whole lot of it right now.
Yeah, I am definitely optimistic. I think it's hard for you to have the expectation that when bats are doing well that they're going to stay doing good, but I think there is a certain level, like an average, where you can expect them to at least perform. It's a long season, 162 games. Guys are going to have their ebbs and flows. We even saw it with Corbin Carroll. He didn't start the season strong at all, but he's coming back into his own. He just hit a home run in this game that we're watching here. Mike, I want to stay with you for a second here, because as we're watching this game, it looks like we might win the first two against Pittsburgh. Are we gonna get that elusive sweep?
Don't you dare put that
I
out.
have-
Why are you doing that, Chris?
I already told you
That's
what
what
I
you got.
think. So go ahead, Mike.
Oh
What do you
my
got?
gosh,
Just remember who's
man.
pitching tomorrow.
Yeah, Diaz. I mean, I loved his first start, right? He got screwed because of Paul Sewald. Didn't get that first win in his first start, but he secured his first start. Torey Lovella was on the radio the other day kind of talking about what his mishaps were within that start against Kansas City in that first game. Just losing a little bit of command early. You can kind of still talk about, it's not the yips, but it's still like filling your way within the major league game. So if you can get control down and we can get him some early runs, that's the biggest thing for young pitchers, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Seeing that early run support gives you more confidence because then you know that you have a little bit more wiggle room. Whereas if you're looking at, Zach Gallen yesterday, we're down 3-1 going into the fifth, and he just basically has to hold the line. But those kind of guys have different confidence comparative to new guys within the majors. So get him some early runs, hop on top of this Pittsburgh team, and if we can hold this one out, because this is still early too. I think we're in the third inning, but 3-run lead. I love it right now. Brandon's going to work. Only 25 pitches through, so.
But
the elusiveness is right at our tips. What did Tallman say last time? He could taste it.
Taste
Almost taste it.
But I mean, we have
Didn't
seen
happen.
those types of instances with Yilber in his debut and with Fott where they pitch their ass off, have a great game, and then either the bullpen throws it away or the bats don't show up, and they end up not getting the win and squeaking it out. I will say I was actually gonna be at this game today until we scheduled the recording for today.
Oh, you're gonna go?
Yeah, I was gonna
What
go.
the hell? Why didn't you?
This is
go?
the Hall of Fame. This is the game to go to.
I know.
It's the
I was
Hall
gonna
of Fame game.
I was gonna get the T-shirt.
To
Yeah.
the brand new Dbacks Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
I know.
You would have watched fucking history.
I know.
Why didn't you go?
I know. Shout out Gary and Sharon, my parents.
Oh,
they're at the
they're
game.
Did they get your shirt?
They got a shirt. I don't know if it has my name on it, but
no.
Oh, man.
Come on, Gary.
Tell them we need it. We're gonna put it up right here on the wall.
But I am going to the game with them tomorrow. They have the season pass,
You are
so
going
they let
tomorrow?
me tag along
That's
with them
cool.
every once in a while. So
Sorry you have to watch Diaz pitch.
I don't apologize. It might not be bad, but with Diaz though, like I think he has good bones. I just, like Mike said, like as these rookies come up and they kind of feel their way out, it's a combination of that and also other teams not
Don't
having
know.
enough scouting. They don't know
Yeah.
exactly what they're seeing because you can't, AAA to MLB is definitely like apples and oranges. It's not a one-for-one comparison. So any tape they might have on Diaz from AAA, they can't necessarily write that into.
Well, I do want to kind of touch on that in regard to Eduardo Rodriguez too, right? Because I feel like it could go both ways. Yes, you have tape. You got some years. He's been in the league for a while.
Right.
But he also hasn't pitched this entire season, so you don't have any new tape. What kind of different work is he going to be bringing alongside? I don't think he's changing any pitches, but, pinpointing within the zone and that kind of stuff. So it could either go really, really great where he comes out and he's absolutely hot on fire, just absolutely smoking these teams because people aren't in touch with him just yet because he hasn't pitched in 2024, or he could kind of have a slow start because he hasn't pitched in 6-8 months. You know, so
I'll say though, within that though, I think there is something to factor in with both him and Kelly, where they don't have that wear and tear on them from this season. You can consider them as somewhat of fresh arms. Yeah, they might have to shake off some rust. Yeah, they're just coming back, but they haven't played at all this season. What, Kelly maybe had 2 starts before he was out, if that.
I think it was more than that. I think he played a month and a half.
yeah,
He got hurt in May.
5 or 6 starts.
I got like
I
a
don't know.
goldfish.
Yeah,
I got
I-
like a
no.
goldfish memory, guys.
Yeah,
I swear to
I have no
God,
idea.
Kelly didn't pitch.
We'll
that
pull it
season.
up. We'll pull it up.
But the beautiful thing about that is, so we're going to talk about the trade deadline and what the D-backs did. I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, and then we mentioned in some of the streams, it's like, oh, well, there's even talk about them maybe even adding, a starting pitcher, right?
I don't see it.
But no, it's not going to happen because where they're sitting at right now with those guys getting healthy and coming back, it's like you're adding 2 prime starting pitchers at the trade deadline. When Kelly and Rodriguez come back, those are like trade deadline acquisitions because
Accusations. Acquisitions.
Accusation. Okay, I did not have.
I thought we could
sexual
finish each
relations.
other's sentences. I guess we're not there yet.
No, not quite. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's like,
No, absolutely,
When
yeah.
they come back, the jolt that they're going to put into this team, it's like you just added them at the deadline, and you didn't
Big
have to
time.
give anything up for them.
Yeah, no, that's a terrific perspective and honestly very true. I do think that the potential is so high for us to have what it would be Gallen, Montgomery, Rodriguez, Kelly, Fott is our starting five pitching rotation.
Has turned into the pitcher that we have just hoped that he would.
More or less. I mean, especially for a second-year guy, I can't be asking anything more of him, and that's why, like, I think the idea of them getting another starting pitcher is kind of far-fetched because you don't need to. You really don't need to.
It was never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
It's kind of been a revolving door in like the 4-5 spot when you think about like Tommy Henry and Ryan Nelson and all those guys that have had to kind of fill in the gaps, but at the end of the day, with these guys coming back, all those questions and all those, issues could be resolved with having them healthy. I do want to talk a bit about the trade deadline, though, which is coming up this Tuesday, the 30th. We already saw one move get made. Like we said, AJ Puck coming over from the Marlins, and we gave up, I think I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Devison Dos Santos. He was a prospect in our system, of course. Third baseman, good bat, but Tallman, you were telling me kind of a liability on the defensive side.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. I think currently, I think he led the minor league in home runs.
Yeah, he had a ton, like 26 or something like that.
Yeah, so the guy has a big bat.
Yeah, he was hitting like 381 too, I think.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people in like groups that I'm part of on like Facebook pretty upset about moving on from him.
Dude, okay. That is ridiculous.
Is this Jazz Chisholm 2.0?
So, no, it's not.
And then playing the majors to be even considered as a Jazz
Even
Chisholm.
if it was, who cares, right? Because it's not. You got to look at what this team's trying to do right now.
Yes,
he can't help us right now. All right, so this guy, what was his name?
DeSantos or something. Yeah.
So
De Los Santos.
They were saying just what I've been hearing.
No, it's probably just DeSantos.
It's De Los Santos.
It's De Los Santos.
Devison De Los Santos.
DeSantis. He's the governor of Florida.
Well, he's in Florida now.
Yeah. There you go. Right. But no, they're saying he was playing at third base. He just has no defense. He's really bad in the field. So to try to minimize that, to make it so he's not just exclusively a DH, they tried to play him at first. And then I forgot who it was. It was on 98.7, and they were asking him about that prospect, and he was just so not high on him at all. And it was like, I forgot who. I know that is a terrible. That had no substance to it whatsoever. But what it is there's people coming out saying there might be some character issues with him.
Oh,
where he has no interest in trying to get better on defense or in the field. Where it's almost like he's just like, hey, I just want to hit him over the fence. But at the same time, yeah. So I get people are upset about it. What was he? What prospect was he ranked in our farm system? I don't remember.
That's a great question.
I know he's top 30. Obviously, they both were top 30.
Yeah, I think they were 14 and 30, and
was he 14?
I think Devison was 14.
Probably 14.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas Andrew Pintar was on the latter half. He was number 30, I think.
So you could be mad about it, but look at what we're doing. Look what we did last year. Right, we went to the World Series. It was it was magical. It was, no one would have called that, right? And you could sit here and argue why you feel
No, sorry, I just thought of something else. Because while we're talking about like top prospects and the rank of prospects, I just remembered that Jordan Lawler got injured again.
Yeah. Let's not speak on it this time, please. Good Lord.
But you got to think about what was the major thing that we did last year that helped this team turn around, get hot at the right time, and make a deep run into October. Well, we added Sewald, right? And then Ginkel figured it out. And then Thompson came from the Marlins, right? The Rays. The Rays dropped Thompson.
The Rays dropped him.
And then we brought him on. And then Thompson was incredible. So our bullpen, our 7, 8, 9 guys just fell perfectly into place. And you could argue that our bullpen was fucking rock solid. And that really helped us. So any starting pitcher that got us through 6 with the lead, it was like, we're going to win that game because you're going to have to face our 7, 8, 9 guy, and you can't get a hit against them. So, and then I remember we did our end of the league, end of the year stream about the baseball season. My MVP was Ginkel. That dude was pitching his ass off.
The Gink.
He was unhittable, man. He was my MVP. Granted, he's got a little bit of struggles. Thompson's getting hit a little bit, but they're still solid setup guys, right? Sewald, we can hate him as much as we want, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why I'm going on this this tangent here is to go back to what we did this season at the trade deadline. Granted, there's still we still have
2 days?
2 days,
T
3
minus,
days, right?
yeah.
So
2.5.
there's stuff that's going to happen. The D-backs probably not. We're probably not going to do anything else because this is all we need. Adding him, he's is it fuck? I mean Puck. You knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
So adding him is great. I mean, he was one of the, what they're saying is he was one of the top left-handed relievers available on the trade market. So for us to land him is huge. You know, that's exactly what we needed. Joe Mantiply, as we've been saying over and over again, cannot be the only left-handed reliever that we have in that bullpen. Granted, Mantiply's been okay. He hasn't been terrible. He is in our A bullpen. He's not in the B bullpen with Miguel Castro. So he has been good, but we need that guy, and he's big. He's like 6'7". The dude can throw.
Is he? Wow.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah.
He can throw a mean ball. He's got a crazy sweeper, which we don't have. A swing and miss, a huge swing and miss pitch. It looks like it's starting in the zone, and
He's a lefty also, right?
yeah, he's lefty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we needed. We need that left-handed guy, and Torrey loves his matchups. He loves his matchups. Ask anybody. So he was an incredible ad, and I don't give a shit about it. If you're mad about getting rid of 2 prospects for this guy who has 2 years of team control, we have him for the next 2 seasons.
That's not bad. And I did see that he doesn't have the most flashy stats, but recently he's been really good.
What?
I wanna give.
Do you know why he doesn't have flashy stats?
Yeah.
Because he started the season as a starter.
Fellas, I got the breakdown
All right.
for you.
I was gonna
You
say,
ready?
Mike. I know
Not
Mike.
a-
I
You
know
got the
Mike
break-
has
you
got
some
it.
stuff for
So
you.
since being a reliever, he's got like a 2.08 ERA. Go ahead, Mike.
You're right. So AJ Puck traded from the Marlins. He's actually the former 6th overall pick.
Really?
Crazy.
Yes, by the Oakland Athletics.
What year?
Wrong question.
Yeah.
But
It's like you
anyways,
in trivia.
That's true. He's finally getting me back for
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
But Tallman said it. He started this year in the rotation. So he only had 4 outings before his injury, which put him on the IL, I think around April 20th. And he never made it through 5 innings as a starter. So 17 runs in 13 2/3 innings as a starter. He walked 17 batters.
God
4 stars.
damn.
Bad.
Oh no.
Real bad. Okay. But since he moved to the pen, Tallman said it again, 2.08 ERA over 30 1/3 innings. 33 strikeouts in 114 batters faced, only 6 walks. So he's just more comfortable in the pen. He's got a real nice fastball, averages over 95. Tallman, once again, he talked about that slider, man. Those are really good pitchers to have in the second and later half of the bullpens, right? Where you can get those swing aways. If you need to punch out with guys on, you can trust it and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we needed to add another lefty outside of Joe Mantiply, who was doing okay, 3.99 ERA, but his ground ball percentage is really good at 48.2%. So you just have to have another one. You can't have just one. You can't rely on one guy to come in because of different matchups. So good move. Real good move by the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the more I hear about it, the more I like it. And I did bring up the people that are out there that are upset about us giving Dos Santos. They think like we're gutting our farm system or whatever. But honestly, I'm not mad about it because this is a guy who wasn't going to be brought up this season, and we have a team that's poised to be competitive now, and we need to put all our eggs in that basket. I'm not saying gut the system. I'm not saying trade Drew Jones or Jordan Lawler. Even
I'm saying that.
I would. I mean, Tallman, we've talked about it before. I mean, every time.
Perdomo is 24 years old.
Yeah.
You think of him when you think about Perdomo. Look, he's up at bat right now.
Hold on, you
Look
just
at
are you saying trade Drew Jones or trade
yeah,
Lawler?
Or Lawler.
Trade Lawler.
So
probably.
you-
I'd trade
you
both
think-
of them, honestly.
No, don't trade
No,
Drew
hey,
yet.
Our
Hey.
outfield's fine.
Oh yeah, but he's
Dude,
so young.
You have an outfield. You have Lourdes, Thomas, Carroll, McCarthy. You already, and then Carroll.
Gritchick can play outfield too.
Yeah, but Carroll, well, because Lourdes is going to go away, and eventually it's going to be Thomas and McCarthy and Carroll in the outfield, unless one of them gets moved, because Carroll, Thomas, and McCarthy are like the same player.
They're so
They're all
fucking
the same.
fast, dude.
They're all
Yeah.
fast.
It's like the no-fly zone.
They all
out
have
there,
no
man.
arm, and they all have mediocre power. That's true, right?
Oh, it's so funny though because they have no arm, and then who's the only guy who's like not like that?
Gurriel.
Gurriel, and he has the worst arm out of all of them.
He's got the what's sad is he's got the best arm out of all of them. And we just saw Noodle arm last year. There's a couple throws where I was like, what the hell?
Oh,
but that's the thing. If they can chase him down, they don't always need to have the best arm.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's like they can cover a lot of ground out there. But I mean, I'm kind of concerned about Carroll's fielding ability this year. Because the guy was last season, he was a true. He could do, what do they call it? He can do everything.
Like a 5-tool.
You can run, hit, field. I don't fucking know.
Catch.
Who knows? Just
base run, all that good stuff.
So he was an all around awesome player, but this year it's like he can catch anything that's in front of him. But it's like if there's any balls that are hit over his head, he's taking the wrong cut. He can't track it right. It's like he's not even making any of these plays that he made last season. And then when he started the year, remember Thomas was out, Carroll was in center field, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, he's not very good at playing center field at Chase Field, because playing center field at Chase Field is completely different than playing anywhere else, because you have the overhang on the
you got to
run
balls
porch.
Off
you got that huge
wall.
Yep. So it's like. So then I was like, okay, cool. Thomas is coming back. You're going to put Carroll back in his normal right field spot. But then he goes to right field, and there's dudes hitting balls over his head where it's like he's not even sticking out trying to get him. Or he's taking the wrong turn, and it's landing behind him. So it's not that he's not a full-blown liability out there in right field, but at the same time, he's not the same player in every aspect of his game as he was last year.
Call it what it is. That's fine. I mean, we got to call him out and call it how we see it. But especially between that and his batting, I think you can chalk that up to being a young player. Also, sophomore slump, whatever you want to say. But Mike, I feel like you had something to add here.
Well, to talk to that, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it, guys. This is a sophomore slump. This is kind of a historic sophomore slump. Like
from rookie of the year,
they were talking
really
about
bad.
he was in like the
line.
top 5 worst percentages,
Top 3
or something.
I know what you're going to say.
For what? What was it?
It was from a player who won
Rookie of the
year, and then the next year I think they went off of OPS.
Yeah. So he was like the 10th
he was-
worst.
he
He
was
was
the
in the
third.
top 10.
But that's one side.
Yeah.
But that's
It was-
one
it
side
was-
of the ball.
right.
Yeah. But it was all time. So there's 2 guys, one guy from like the 60s and from the 70s, and he was number 3. So he's got the worst from being one of the best, and then his next season.
So the biggest thing is, I mean, our guy is struggling. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to take steps back, and man, he took a little bit of a step back this year. And I think some of it. Now, my question for you, when I was kind of like pointing over here, I'm like, well, wait, hold on a second. My question for you is, do you think that the fielding errors or the inconsistency with judging fly balls right now out in right field is because he was moving around? Because wasn't he playing in left every once in a while too? Like we were shuffling guys around. He was primarily playing in center field, but
Carroll was
when
primarily playing in
Yeah, he
yes,
was
before
playing
Alec Thomas
center.
came back and Jake McCarthy and that kind of stuff.
No, it was
his-
mostly
Gurriel was mostly in
it was
left.
Gurriel or it was McCarthy.
But on
or it
off
was
days, I
Bridget.
thought Carroll would every once in a while fill in over there. But that's beside the point. He was a right fielder last year. That was where he got his notoriety. That was where he got his footing over there. So to have to play the first third plus of the season in center field and then have to switch over, you've been judging the ball totally different, especially with how big those corners are out in center, right center and left center.
Yeah.
And like the tracking is so completely different. So do you think that has kind of got into his head how to get back
No.
into really feeling out there in his normal position?
I don't think so. I don't, because he's back in right field now. And we're still seeing the same issues. And they practice. You know how many times he's caught a fly ball in that outfield? I mean, that's their home stadium.
Okay, well,
You know, it's like how, like, I don't know what it is. If it's confidence.
No,
or...
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit
ahead.
because I'm inclined to somewhat see Mike's point here and think that it's not that he's not familiar, it's the inconsistency, and especially when you factor in, like we're saying, these guys are all quick out there. It's who's gonna get the ball and where it is. So as soon as a ball comes off the bat and you got to think about where it's going, he has to decide if it's the center fielder's responsibility, if it's his responsibility. So those in betweeners, it sounds like at the end of the day, it sounds like it's completely mental. We know Corbin Carroll is completely capable physically. He's an athlete. He is a stud. We know what he's capable of. We saw it all last season. I think it's between the ears right now.
That's it, man. That's
and that's
really
where the
it.
inconsistency comes in.
Confidence.
It's
mental.
Okay, I'm telling you, like, as much as people don't want to believe it, or they still kind of talk shit about Simone Biles at the Olympics last time, the yips are a real thing. So he could be going through it right now.
He's got to
right?
put in women's
The
gymnastics wherever he can.
Shout out USA, Team USA. Let's go.
Oh my goodness,
but
Michael.
I'm saying, like, he's struggling from the plate. He's hitting under 200 for most of the season. People are talking.
High
in the age of social media.
And he's not even playing every game.
You
too.
can't say that guys don't hear that kind of stuff. And exactly, you're not playing them against lefties. You don't think that has something on the psyche
you guys
of players?
And the inconsistency.
In the last recap, I said you need to stop trying to protect his fucking confidence, and he needs to play every single game like he did last season. What the hell?
But last season he had the consistency, whereas we've even seen it this year with his batting struggles. Torrey's moved him up and down that batting order.
Seventh. Last season he was fucking living
first
in the
leadoff spot. Yeah, which it's where he belongs.
But
with
that's
his
the
speed,
same
he
thing.
belongs in the leadoff spot.
The other day against the Royals, I think the last game he was hitting first. He was hitting second, I think. No, he was hitting first, and then Ketel was second.
Yeah.
So it's like he's still jumping around. So that just is a lot of moving pieces within your mentality of playing, because you still can't get your true footing within every day. This is what it is. This is what I'm doing. Now he's been back in right field for a couple of weeks for sure. I get that. But with all the inconsistency that's happened throughout his game this year,
we gotta check my bet.
I get
pulling up FanDuel.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can totally understand why he might just be having some errors and some miscues and that kind of stuff, because it's been that type of season for Corbin Carroll so far. So you're going to see it, but he's going in the right direction.
Well,
right
Tallman,
now, at least from the bat.
I just have another question, because while I don't want to drag out this topic about Corbin Carroll and beat him to death, but I do have to ask: does Torey Lovello own some of the responsibility here? Did you win your bet?
I just need Devers to get another base, but they're in the top 7.
Uh-oh.
But it's tied 6-6.
But does Torey Lovello own some of the blame here for having that inconsistency with where he is in the field, where he is in the batting order, or is this just 100% on Corbin Carroll?
It's 100% on Corbin Carroll.
Yeah,
because if he wasn't having those issues, then he would be batting leadoff. He wouldn't be in the 7th hole.
So that's why I say that, because Corbin Carroll started off as slow as he did, to the point where it kind of forced Torey's hand to start trying to make some adjustments and move him around and that kind of stuff.
Because if it was anybody else that we didn't pay $108 or $111 million,
something like that.
If it was any other player, if it was Jake McCarthy making fucking $700,000, he would have gotten sent down immediately when he batted under 200.
If Corbin's hitting over 270, they wouldn't have moved him through the first month. If he's hitting anywhere near that, over 250, I would say.
Yeah, easily, yeah. They
wouldn't have been moving around and trying to find where he should fit and what to do. He was just so far under that Mendoza line.
Yeah.
It's like you have to start to make adjustments, but you can't not play him because, like Tallman said, he's your bread and butter. He's your guy that you threw the bag at.
He's a fan favorite, too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I get it. So you're coming in.
He is the face of the franchise. Corbin Carroll is the face of the franchise.
Well, he's fighting real hard.
Him and Zach Gallen.
He's fighting real hard with Ketel Marte right now.
Ooh, Ketel.
Marte he's the best player on this team.
Yeah, I don't think Zach is the face right now.
He is also, he's also a fan favorite. But Corbin Carroll, like what he did last season, he went to the All-Star game. He won Rookie of the Year. He was all over ESPN. He had all the national talking heads talking about him. No one's talking about Ketel Marte. No one. Well, even this season. When he's an MVP candidate.
I have a potentially
He could win the fucking MVP, and they still won't talk about him.
I have a potentially hot take about that, because I don't disagree. Ketel Marte might be our best player right now. He is an absolute stud. All-star starter. And this, again, might be a hot take, But again, not to talk about all these forums I'm in and people I'm talking to.
You talking
but
shit?
Someone brought up the fact that Ketel Marte was one of the only players not mic'd up, didn't get a lot of camera time during the All-Star break, and I brought up the fact that part of that was probably largely due into part where Ketel Marte is not a strong English speaker. He's not going to get in interviews. He's not going to be in front of a camera talking to the fans and talking after a game about what he does. He speaks through a translator a lot of the time. I know he can speak English. It's just not his first language.
There was a game 2 nights ago where they interviewed him after the game we won. He spoke English, no translator. It was very choppy, but it was good. You could understand
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like he can't speak English. I just don't think he's super comfortable with it.
Like he's got it, but like he still searches for words. You know, where he's like, and then he goes with the very basic word.
Yeah, I know. Props to him. I mean, you're not going to see me going speaking Spanish in an interview.
I mean, English is hard as fuck to learn.
Mi gato es queso, right?
As a second, okay, I know more than that. All right, but yeah. But no, you're right. That's
no, but I think
point.
that's a big part of it, because when you think about connecting with the fans and you look at Zach Allen and Corbin Carroll and Christian Walker, those guys can get in front of a camera, speak their mind and what's going on, and easily communicate with the fans. Whereas it's harder for Ketel Marte to do that, and not only the language barrier. I think he's just more of a reserved guy. I think Ketel Marte is kind of
sure.
I think so.
You see the guy; he's a showman, dude.
There's a difference. There's a difference between being a
me?
showman on the field and being in interviews speaking to people.
I don't know.
Mike,
not a
come on,
reserve.
back
He's
me up
not
here.
a reserve.
Back me up here. You can do the bat flips, you can
Look
pump
at
up
him.
the crowd, but like when it comes down to like
no, he's not
communicating.
reserved.
I don't know. One thing I kind of pull back to, I guess, to link those kind of things. Obviously, they're different sports, but I think about Larry Fitzgerald, right? When he would make a great play or he would make a normal, first down catch, what was the first thing he would always do?
Give the ball to the referee.
Hop up, hand
Never
the ball to the
celebrate,
referee,
yeah.
back to the huddle. Like that was all he did. Towards the end of his career, though, when he would start making some good plays, then you started to see the fire from Larry.
Jacked.
The screams, the arm pumps, that kind of stuff. Ketel's got some flash, but Larry has just always been reserved when he talks to the media. I don't think Ketel does anything that is like over flashy comparative to some other guys, but yeah, within his time frame being here in Arizona, has he ever been kind of a character like a Lourdes Gurriel within his 1 year being here, right? With the purple hair,
Do you guys think
exuberance, and that kind of
Yes.
stuff. You can, but
But I mean,
it
look at
will
Ketel though.
it will stretch towards more kind of normalcy within.
That's a great point,
what
Mike.
you're talking,
and
I'm talking to media, I guess.
As you make that point, like Steve Nash was kind of that guy too, right? Quiet, But both Larry and Steve could get in a post game press conference and say, yeah, we had that play on third down where it was third and 6, and I went for a slant, but I didn't cut it sharp enough, and the defender got in front. Like he can walk you through plays, and whereas like I don't think Ketel would be able to speak as in depth on that. But I don't want to beat that to death. I don't want to beat that to death.
He's not that bad. I mean,
No, he's not. He's not.
He knows English pretty good. It's different. I mean, you know it in your head, but it's different when it comes out. So he just doesn't speak it as well. But
and a lot of again,
it's not
a ton of props
bad,
to him, a ton of respect. Knowing and speaking 2 languages is very impressive.
Did Gabby just steal
something not a
base?
lot of people do.
Oh my god,
That's crazy.
I love it.
But guys, we've gone a little bit long here on the D-backs, but
Still in base.
I do have a couple more topics. Just a quick update as we're watching this. You're going to know the final score by the time this comes out, but it's 4-1 in the bottom of the 4th. Slade Sacconi's at the game, which is interesting because he's not even on the.
No, that was that was our first round draft pick. His first name is Slade.
Oh, his name's also Slade?
Yeah, it was not Sacconi.
Oh, we have 2 Slades now?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
I think
Excuse me.
Was
It's a different
Caldwell
era,
or
man.
Slade
something?
Caldwell, yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Was it Caldwell?
those Gen Z names.
Yeah, what, you think Slade Sacconi's taking batting practice, Chris, at the beginning of the game?
I don't
Remember,
know, man. I thought he was the one throwing it in batting
I was like,
practice.
he's fucking jacked.
He is Jack.
Dude's huge.
All right, fair enough. That makes a lot more sense. I'm sorry for that mild interruption. But, guys, just a couple more things I want to touch on with the Diamondbacks. Like we've talked about the trade deadline. I think Suarez has secured his spot. There was a lot of rumblings, people calling for him to be moved on and traded. I think the way he's come on in the past couple weeks has kind of cemented that he's going to be our third baseman for the rest of the season, and with good reason. I think a lot of people were jumping off that ship a little too soon. Again, it's a long season. But also Paul Sewald. He gave up, 3 saves consecutively, had a real tough stretch there. They had that famous recap where we were talking about, Mike was saying, I think Sewald's going to turn the corner and have a good stretch, and then in that same day he ended up giving up another save opportunity. But you got to stick by your guys, and I think I am starting to have a lot more faith in Sewald that he'll be able to pull it together. But I just bring that up to ask you guys. I know you've already kind of alluded to you don't think there's going to be any moves made, but those two guys aren't going anywhere, right?
No, God no. I mean, come on, this team, we're obviously buyers. We're not selling off our starting third baseman,
which is good. That's
we're
good
not,
to see.
We're not selling off our closer. I mean, Geno. This was exactly what the team wanted to happen. Was they wanted the guy that they signed, or excuse me, we traded. No, we signed him.
I thought we signed Suarez, but we might have traded for him.
We
signed him.
I'm pretty sure we signed him.
No, we traded.
Oh,
I think you're still confusing the Sewald trade.
Chris said trade, and then we said sign.
No, I think it was the other way around.
We traded for both Sewald. We traded for Sewald last year, and then we traded for Suarez.
No, you're right. We traded for
offseason.
both of them. You're right. You're right. Yeah, irrelevant. Either way, he's on the team now, and he's not going anywhere. We don't have to talk long on that. I don't think either of those guys are going anywhere, but I do think it is encouraging that teams. What do you got?
The Mariners traded Suarez to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
For Sebi Zavala.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry. That's
We've
my
had this
bad.
conversation.
Yeah, my bad. We have.
Times. I know that.
It doesn't stick. But what I was saying was this is exactly what the team wanted to happen because, I mean, Suarez in the month of July has been incredible. I mean, the guy's batting over 300.
Yeah.
He's been hitting home runs. He's been doing exactly what was advertised before he came here. And the guy has played lockdown defense the entire season. The guy is an incredible defender, and there's no doubt about that. But Sewald, it's like, okay, well, you're going to get rid of him? Who's going to take his place? We saw Justin Martinez implode in that position. We saw Ginkel, while Sewald was out in that spot, struggle, be shaky. Thompson, I don't know. Thompson would be the only one you would toss in there. I mean, but no, Sewald's not going anywhere. It's like, you got to believe in your guy. You got to ride with your guy. He's proven. He's got the background, the history, the stats. You know, he's done it before, been there, got the T-shirt. So you got to ride with that guy until it gets completely bloody and unbearable. But adding Puck, it's. I mean, it helps you. You have flexibility, right? So but no, they're not trading anybody. And also, I don't think they're going to sign any or trade for anybody else. I think that was their one and only move. And I think the team is set, and this is the cards that they're going to play the rest of the season.
Yeah, looking at the roster as it's assembled now, I don't see any move that they would need to make unless they get a call where there is just some massive talent that you can't pass up on at a good deal where all you have to give up is another couple prospects that might not even see the field at all. But so I don't think I agree is what I'm trying to say is I don't think Hazen's aggressively out there trying to pursue anybody else. The calls are going to be coming to him. I don't think he's going to be making those calls, which is good because we've seen teams with a similar record so far making moves and being sellers. So it's that when you're right at around 500, it's hard to make that decision of if you're going to be a buyer, if you're going to be a seller. And I think if I had to put myself in Mike Hazen's shoes, he's looking at, okay, we made the World Series last year. Yeah, it hasn't been an incredible start, but we've been pretty banged up, and we're hot now. And if we can continue that momentum and get healthy and be one of those premier teams, there's a spot in the playoffs, a wild card spot with our name on it. And yeah, it is unfortunate that there are other teams getting hot around the same time. The Padres are heating up. Even the Pirates that we're playing now, up until the last couple games with us, have been struggling. But so that's a good sign. These are the teams we need to beat. And we're going to have another series coming up with the Pirates later this week. I think it's kind of fortunate when we talk about the game tomorrow that we're not going to see Paul Skeens pitch in Arizona. He's going to pitch on Monday when they're on there to their next series. So we hit the bottom of their rotation tomorrow. We're not seeing Mitch Keller. We're not seeing Skeens. which is good for us. But then coming up, just a quick glance at the next couple 2-3 weeks here. After this series, we're gonna have the Nationals. Bad team. We're gonna play the Pirates again. We've shown we can match up with them.
No problem.
The Guardians have been playing really good base. The two after that, the Guardians and the Phillies. Those are gonna be a test. But even the Phillies have kind of taken a step back.
Phillies are coming to town, right?
I didn't make that note, but I believe you're correct.
They are, yeah. We're gonna have to go to one of those games.
Mike, I'm circling this right here. The Colorado Rockies. That's the sweep. That's the sweep right there.
Right now.
I want to believe that it's right now, but
That's still a while.
Tallman, you're flip flopping on me because you're saying with Diaz on the mound tomorrow. You're saying with Diaz on the mound tomorrow that we don't have a chance at the sweep. But then
I forgot about
after
Diaz,
the Rockies, we got the Rays and the Marlins are shown to be sellers. They traded Randy Arozarena to the Marlins, traded Jazz Chisholm to the Yankees. So they're full tank mode at this point. So these are the games in the series that we need to win. Absolutely the Nationals. We need to be competitive against the Guardians and the Phillies. We need to sweep the Rockies, beat the Rays in that series, and honestly, we need to sweep the Marlins also.
I love it. Here's the truth of the matter, folks. This team is looking to win its 8th series out of 9 previous, right? And we split the series with the Braves. I'm being extremely selfish when I say the way that I talk about getting a series sweep. This team is playing some damn good ball, fellas. We know this
Best
right
they played
now.
All year.
Incredible. Yeah. And everything we've talked about is why I'm probably aligned with Tallman, unless it's a really damn good, sweet deal where we get the cherry on top, where we're not really making any further moves, right? We got our piece. We got our lefty in the bullpen, right? Yes, we'd love to get another power bat, but you're not going to give up assets for somebody who's not going to be a starter. Your starting lineup in the field is all set. Everybody's healthy again. We got our boys Alec Thomas and our starting shortstop of the future set, and you're adding 2 weapons that we hope in a starting lineup that can just absolutely propel this team. Jordan Montgomery hopefully has a great second half.
This is when he gets hot, right?
This is when he gets hot. Tori was talking about how they kind of just sat him down and gave him some extra time to get right.
I told you the phantom injury.
It wasn't a real injury.
It wasn't real. Oh, my knees inflated.
My knees. Because that was on the heels of him chucking his pitch comm at the wall and really being pissed off,
where
right?
he was bottom.
Just get that reset
at the bottom, bottom.
But that's good. He's hard on himself. He holds himself to a high standard and a high expectation. I think, the frustration's one thing, but that's what you want to see from your pitchers.
But to top it all off, I think I just want to see a series sweep because of how great this team has been playing. They deserve it. They deserve that accolade for what they've done the last month, really, and just put themselves back into a position where they're starting to kind of seal themselves away from the would-be NL wildcard hopefuls to the point where they're going to be one of those ones that are fighting at the very, very end for one of those spots. And hopefully if they continue this momentum, we're going to be the ones who at the end we can do a Houston Astros and not give a hell and we get in no matter what, right? So we're in a beautiful spot. I can't believe that 2 years in a row this Diamondbacks baseball team is really given something the Valley can be proud of during the summer, man, because we've been waiting for it for a damn decade.
Yeah, what a great time for us to be 2 years into the Valley Sports Plug brand and bringing it back to actually have something to talk about. It's incredible. But we're going to have plenty to talk about with the Arizona Diamondbacks as they make their push for the playoffs and get in that wild card spot. Again, make sure you're checking out our bi-weekly recaps of the Arizona Diamondbacks on our Valley Sports Plug YouTube channel, where you can find all of our Valley Sports Plug content as our primary location. But guys, last team we're going to talk about today, as Mike said, not going to talk about the Suns. We promised Tallman we wouldn't do it.
You guys
we're sparing him.
Ridiculous, man.
We're sparing him.
No, I didn't. I can talk basketball. You know this.
Oh, we know.
Oh, we know you.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Tallman's a certified hoop head at this point.
Well,
he doesn't want to claim it, but we'll anoint him. How about that?
Okay,
we'll
thank
give
you.
it to him.
I
Honorary,
yeah. It's mostly
or honorary hoop head. Is that?
It's mostly I watched a lot of basketball because
I mean, at some point,
betting on basketball, so I'd watch like all the games, and
at some point we're gonna have to have Tallman on Past the Outlet.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Make an appearance.
We can do that.
It's been
a shot.
I have a full.
we'll give him an audition.
I have a full schedule though. So,
Yo, we know.
We know. You see the way my schedule works. I squeak a lot.
Man, that chair. You and that
Is
chair.
it bad? Do you think they can hear it?
Oh, they can hear.
They can hear it for sure.
Right. Well, let me catch the squeaks with your mitt.
Yeah, catch it. And maybe just tuck it in between
Is this
you
a
and the
baby
chair.
mitt?
Oh, maybe it's probably a youth glove. I don't know. Used to have a bunch of autographs of Angels players when I went to Tempe Diablo Stadium for spring training.
Classic.
All right, name one Angels player.
Oh, dude,
when you were there.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But hey, that's neither here.
I couldn't do it either.
That's neither here nor there. We're gonna talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Mike and Tallman's favorite topic. We're gonna close the show at that. Guys, training camp is underway. It is Kyler Murray's comeback season. We got Zay Jones. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. We got the Barbarian. Dennis Gardeck. Oh, baby. Oh, man. If you're not excited for the Cardinals season, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
That was
Yikes.
incredible. What do you mean?
But, guys, I guess I'll open the floor up to you guys. Training camp is underway. Mike, how you feel about it?
Oh, I can't wait. I do want to get out there, but I don't want to go to red-white practice. I want to go to one of those other days, one of those smaller days where
You're running out of time.
Well, what do you mean? I'm running out of time. It just started. Am I really running out of time?
Well, you only got
What is
their first preseason game is in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, well, I'll figure that out. Fellas,
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, has the culture change been completed?
I'd say 80%.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's not complete, but man, we are just heavy moving on the tracks right now. I'm so excited with what this front office and Monty Austinfort was able to do once again within the NFL draft. Guys are being given opportunities. Already some nice standouts from some young players. Tallman's favorite, Michael Wilson. Is he going to be in the starting lineup?
Oh, baby.
I think so.
No.
We'll see.
Obviously he's going to be.
Zay Jones has been making a name for himself, it seems like already. His connection with K1 has been awesome. They're saying he's not dropping a lot of passes.
Hell yeah.
You talked about the Barbarian. He had an awesome step spin move for a sack on Kyler Murray against Jonah Williams. I don't love to see that from Jonah Williams, especially because he's going to be playing a new position on that right tackle. But this is it, man. I mean, football season is right around the corner. Technically, it's officially here. When training camp hits, those pads are put on. There's just something special about this time of year, man. I cannot wait to see what this team can do this year.
I am very optimistic. If you couldn't tell from my little preview prediction there, I am very optimistic for this team. Because, guys, full season of Kyler Murray, this should be his prime, right? This should be prime Kyler Murray. This is, his 5th, 6th year in the NFL? And you can say last year was a bit of an asterisk season as he was out recovering from the injury. But he came back and did pretty good, especially for a guy coming off that injury. I was seeing reports that we can expect the old Kyler Murray making cuts, using his legs, being aggressive. But at the same time, all those old concerns are still there. His height, his ability to see over the line, his ability to get the ball downfield. But at the end of the day, man, I think there's a lot to be said for his athleticism, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities to deep dive Kyler. I don't give a shit about the preseason. I don't give a single shit about the preseason. But there's plenty to be excited about. I mean, Tallman, you got James Conner. The Cardinals had a top 5 running game last year, and if we can add to that with our offensive weapons through the air in Marvin Harrison Jr., Zay Jones, Michael Wilson, the tight end, what the fuck, Trey McBride.
The Dorcher Chamber?
The Dorcher Chamber?
Mike Dorch.
Man, I can't wait for the opportunity that guy's going to get this year.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then because James Conner, I mean, he seems like the leader of the offense. We know it's Kyler, All right. I know he had questions about his leadership, Kyler Murray, but what we've seen in this offseason so far and going into training camp, you've seen every single offensive starter come out and back their quarterback. They said he's that dude. You show up, he's the first one there, and he's the last one to leave. I think it was Michael Carter. He went on the radio, and he said, yeah, I thought I was coming in early. I was there at like 5:30 in the morning, and guess what? That Lambo there is what he said. So Kyler Murray, those verbatim what he said.
That's great.
So Kyler Murray drives a Lamborghini, obviously, but he said I thought I was early, but he's already there. So the work ethic is there. I mean, that's the biggest thing about the national media. I mean, people still look at Kyler Murray as when that whole thing blew up with the contract, where he had the clause with the study clause, where they think he's not fully in. Dude, this guy is fully into this. He's in. He's fully into this game. That's his life. So, but anyway, anyway.
Well, no, I want to piggyback off that real quick. I want you to make your point,
Yeah.
but just while we're still talking about Kyler Murray before we move past it, his previous things like that are going to live on with him. I mean, I even saw there was a video of him coming into the facility, obviously dressed sharp, walking up to the training camp doors, and one of the top comments was, "Oh, he looks like he just came off of playing Warzone for 10 hours straight," or something like that. Like, so all of his past criticisms are going to stay there with him, but I do think he does a good job of tuning that out and staying in his lane, doing what he has to do. He drives the Lamborghini. We got Maserati Marv now. The parking lot's probably looking pretty good for the Cardinals.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, dude. Kyler's making $45 million a year, or maybe less, but I would buy a $500,000 car. Who cares? Doesn't
he's
matter.
not making 35. He's not making 45. He's only making 40. Oh no, that's really hurting his pocketbook.
Yeah. But going back, James Conner. I mean, James Conner has been just like the heart and soul of this offense, right? The guy is, I mean, just the way the resurgence he's had in his career when he's come to Arizona. Like, he's the most exciting player to watch on this team. He really is. The guy is just a mean mother effer. I should just say the word.
Just say
but he's a mean motherfucker. But I mean, our offensive line got better. I mean, we saw, like you said, we're top 5 in rushing. I mean, which is just totally it's a shocker to even believe that was an actual stat. And then you saw the way that this team played at the end of the season against the 49ers, who had the best rushing defense in the league. Dude, we put up over 200 yards rushing on that team. On the best rushing defense in the league, dude, we were running all over them, man. And then I was gonna say we already mentioned the death, but that got deleted. We've done
this all in one take.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Oh yeah, my bad. But we have some incredible depth in that running back room. I mean, the Trey Benson, the 3rd round pick, and then you have Michael Carter, he had some big flashes last season, and then you forget about DeMercado. That's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that dude.
Honorary.
I mean, he ripped off that huge fucking 60-yard run last season. That guy, when he was needed, he showed up and he put in the work. So that running back room is probably one of their strengths right now. It really is. But put that all aside. So, and I said this earlier on in other streams that we had. I said this team's gonna run the football. They're gonna run the football, right? We're gonna be physical up front on the line of scrimmage, and we're gonna run the football. But we add Marvin Harrison Jr. So guess what? We're gonna run the football into your face. 1st down, 2nd down. What happens on 3rd down? We're gonna
Kyler runs it.
We're probably gonna see that again. But no, 3rd and short. They think we're gonna run the football. Marvin Harrison's wide open down the field. So we're gonna stretch the field, right? So we're gonna use play action. It's gonna open up all these gaps. So Marvin Harrison's gonna be fucking incredible for this team. So it's great. I'm super high on it. I mean the national media thinks this team's gonna suck. I mean, I think the over under for their wins is it 5.5 or was it 6.5?
Doesn't matter. I get you, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Kyler came out and he posted something about it, and he said bet the over.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
Bet the house.
that's
Bet the over. We're winning more than 6.5 games.
and that's a consistent thing with the national media and the Arizona Cardinals is they're always going to underestimate the Arizona Cardinals for whatever reason.
Well, look up power rankings. What do you think we are right now in the most recent NFL power ranking?
Well, I would love to do that, but my phone is currently filming this lovely podcast right now.
I will do it for you, Chris.
Well, here, I'll say this.
Well-
Hold on a second.
Okay.
National pundit Mina Kime, who works for ESPN, she was on with the boys over at PHNX, and
Nice.
she basically talked about how that's what it is. The national media didn't watch the Cardinals last year because they were so bad.
Look at the screen.
So they didn't know. They didn't know.
6 days ago. Granted, it's Bleacher Report, but 6 days ago.
Ranked 28.
They
yeah.
didn't
28.
see the second half that this team had. They didn't see the culture that was building, right? So they're going off of just the stats, what happened within the games. They didn't see how competitive a lot of these games were, even with Joshua Dobbs at the helm. They don't know anything about this team. And for what this team was able to do to reload, start to see who your new superstars are. Trey McBride, already top 5 tight end in fantasy draft everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then you got Michael Wilson coming into second year. Beautiful thing is he's not going to have to be number 1, number 2, probably not even number 3 option, right? Greg Dortch is just a ball player, man.
Dortch.
He's going to have opportunities. I hope that he actually gets to start at slot, right?
Yeah.
If it comes down to Zay Jones and Michael Wilson being the discussion to who starts on the outside, that's fine. I hope that they make sure that they go with Greg Dortch because all he's done the past 2 years is prove that he's a playmaker. And he was one of our big play guys last year. You have to play the guys that make plays, damn it. It doesn't matter where they were drafted.
Right.
But it seems like this team understands that. So all these national pundits don't know a damn thing about us.
Well, you're exactly right, and the national media does not watch the Arizona Cardinals, and they've proven that. I think it was even last season or the year before. Stephen A. Smith was on First Take talking about players that weren't even on the team anymore. He's trying to make content, trying to act like he knows what he's talking about, but he fucking doesn't. And he's not the only one. I'm not going to completely throw him under the bus. It's all of them. So Mina Kimes is absolutely right. They're only watching the Cowboys, the Packers, the Dolphins, these big the Chiefs, these big market teams that are on all the primetime games. The Cardinals didn't have a single primetime game last season. And so these guys weren't watching. They were reading box scores. They were reading little recaps written by local media, if that. But I want to put that behind us because it doesn't even fucking matter. Mike, I wanted to ask you about the run game last season. Tallman seems to say here that he thinks it's going to be a big focal point for this season as well as we get Kyler Murray back and healthy. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. and Zay Jones. The pass game is looking a lot like it's going to be a lot better than it was last season. So do you expect the same thing from the run game? I almost feel like last season it was more by necessity than design that we were putting it on the ground more often than not.
Well, and especially to start the season, right? With Joshua Dobbs, you don't want to put too much on his shoulders.
Bingo.
We saw in time frames where we were down big and we had to do that. There's a reason that he was gone by week 7, right? Or whenever Kyler came back, we ended up cutting him right after that.
You sell high.
Yeah.
With Josh Dobbs.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, right? You get what you can for him. There are other teams that were in need of a quarterback. He ended up going to Minnesota because Kirk tore up his shit. So
Yeah.
it made sense at that point. You're getting your heavy hitter back in Kyler Murray. So you don't need him at that point. This team is still going to be the same way in regard to run focused because James Conner, he's got something to prove, man. That's just for damn sure. What was it? His first career 1,000-yard rushing season last year?
Was it really? That sounds right. I mean,
Am I wrong on that?
I don't think.
Look it up, Tallman.
I don't necessarily think-
Tallman's
All
the
right,
stat
I'll-
guy
I'll-
today. He's pulling up everything.
I kind of like having him mirror his phone on the screen
Yeah,
here.
but so
he
look,
can-
look at this. It says he
This is
tore
beautiful.
his ACL in 2021. That's not right. Did he tear his ACL in 2021?
22.
Yeah, so that was wrong. So it was a
So
terrible
the national media doesn't know what they're talking about. Guys, don't trust the media. They're going to fucking lie to you.
yeah, that's a they
But-
didn't
but-
even know when he tore his ACL.
But it's beautiful because you just got a bevy of weapons in the running back room too right now, right? I am very excited that they're bringing Michael Carter back. He can kind of be a change of pace guy. That's the thing, man. They keep
Mike's
adding
right.
they keep adding in these different change of pace. You got James Conner as the bruiser. Michael Carter, can he catch the football a little bit out of the running back
Yeah,
position?
Yeah, he can.
Right? You need that from your backfield in today's NFL. And then Trey Benson, man, this kid out of Florida State, he's going to have opportunities to kind of solidify himself as that second running back early. And he's a character, man. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the flight plans. He's a good guy. Him and Rabbit.
I've been meaning to watch that.
Him and Rabbit, the guy out of Texas Tech, the safety, Demarion. Oh man, look him up too, Tallman. He's got a different name.
All right,
so.
Mike, tell the people.
Yeah.
So
First,
you're right.
First 1,000-yard season in year 7 in the league.
Wow, he had 15 touchdowns.
208 attempts,
Yeah.
1,040 yards, 7 touchdowns.
Well,
Yeah,
that was
his
our
first
big
with him.
year when we went 10-2 or 7-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kyler Murray tore his ACL that
So,
year, I guess.
You got a bevy of weapons, and you got guys who are taking next steps as well as some young guys who are going to have opportunities like we keep talking about. The beautiful thing about this regime comparative to Cliff Kingsbury is they give those young guys opportunities, where comparative with Cliff is like we're just still putting out these old dogs who are barely holding up time and time again. But Kyler's as healthy as he can be coming off of an ACL. We already know that. They said that he's fully 100%. We didn't even see him at 100% at the end of last year.
No, absolutely not.
And his first game back, he has that incredible 3rd and 10 play against Atlanta where he just scrambles out similar to that Oakland Raiders play. And if he's doing that then, imagine what he's going to be able to do now with all these other extra weapons around him. The one thing that I think I always come back to, and if you're a football purist, right, you win in the trenches. We're going to have to see how Paris Johnson holds up on the left tackle position as well as Jonah Williams. But we got some veteran guys on that line as well with Will Hernandez. And, man, they're going to be able to bully people.
Fight?
I did.
Will Hernandez
yeah.
fight?
Yeah. So he was on 98.7 talking to Wolf. And Wolf was like, hey, like, we were talking about, what are you talking to me? We were talking earlier about we were guessing who was going to be the first person to get in a fight in training camp. And Wolf, he was in the interview. So they're broadcasting from a training camp.
Yeah.
So Hernandez was with them. And Wolf was like, yeah, my guess was you. It was you. So that was in not the morning, but like the early morning. You know, they're on 10-2. And then Will Hernandez was like, yeah, like, I get it, but, like, this is day 2, like, give me some time. Like, we haven't even put pads on. Like, it's been months without football. So, yeah, it might happen. But so then later that day, Hernandez ends up getting in a fight. And then he does an interview after that. And he's like, I blame it all on Ron Wolfley.
Yeah, he
it's
should.
like he spoke into existence.
But you heard what he said after that, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, he basically kind of talked about the situation. Do you know who the fight was with? It was one of the linebackers, right?
Mac Wilson Sr.?
Yeah.
Is
So
that
the
a
new
name?
guy
That's
for the
a name,
Patriots,
right?
right?
Yeah,
The
that's
new
the
guy
name,
for the
right?
Patriots,
Yeah.
who's another key piece that they brought in who can be a big contributor this year. But I think the last line he said was, I'm going to need him and he's going to need me.
Yeah.
So we kind of understand the situation and we're all good. That's the culture, man. That's what we've been waiting for. If that's the first thing that you talk about after getting into a fight on day 2, you're already kind of acknowledging how you need each other to get to the successful place that you want to go. That should give you goosebumps right there, man, because that's just a way that a team grows together right
Did you
there.
see who was in the bullpen? No. It's Puck.
Oh, he's
Fuck it.
got his jersey.
Puck it. Sorry. Anyway.
No, but Mike, you're right. That's the point of going against each other. You're going to do it in practice regardless throughout the season, but you make each other better and you compete. And yeah, you're going to butt heads. These are guys playing at the highest level, testosterone flowing everywhere. These guys want to be the best. They want to succeed. So they're going to butt heads. But you're right. For him to come out and say that and have that understanding once you step away. I mean, Mike, how many times have you and I gotten into it? Being on the same team, same side of the ball, playing basketball, just after the game, where it's cool because we push each other to get better, and that's what these guys are doing in practice. And it's a completely different dynamic in football. I get it. They're never going to play on the same side of the ball, but you want to see that. At the end of the day, I don't care about fights as long as it ends with the mutual respect and the understanding is we're both here to make each other better, and it sounds like that's what's happening.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not good for culture, you could argue. I mean, especially coming from remember BA.
It can be, right? It can be.
So Bruce Arians, it was a zero tolerance. It was like if you fight in camp or in practice, you are sitting on the bench. You're not playing the game. So he was so against it. But I mean, I'm with you though. I'm not saying, obviously Gannon's not condoning any of that behavior, but I mean, it's teammates getting acquainted, right?
It's a fine line,
so
for sure.
They're getting ready. They're preparing for battle, right? So I mean, they're training. They're training to go and prepare for battle. And then what would be the best? Because we have some joint practices with the Colts. Is that who it is? Yes. Yeah, so we have two joints with the Colts before we have a preseason game with them in a couple weeks. Yeah, there you go. 2 joints, and I smoked 2 more. So let's see how chippy this team gets in those joint practices. So that's where it should happen. I mean, I'm not a fan of, fighting your teammates, especially when you're Will Hernandez and you're one of the leaders on that line. You really are. You're one of the older. You're the veteran guy on that line.
It shouldn't be a regular occurrence. I would agree with you there. But if it's a one-off and it's like one-time thing, put it behind you. That's fine. And I get like with Bruce Arians, what you're saying there is like. He had a coaching style where zero tolerance. Gannon, a little more lenient, but I'm sure there are conversations where he's probably like, none of that, guys. Cut it out. Like, you let one slide, but if it happens again, I'm sure there should be consequences. It's not something you want to have happen regularly. But guys, I do, as we kind of wind down here in episode 31, I want to talk about the wide receiver room a little more, kind of zoom in on that. But before that, Mike, I think you were looking up a little bit about this Marvin Harrison Fanatics
who is that?
Situation.
No, Tallman was looking up. I had tasked him with
the
information
about
what's
tell
going
me what
on
to do,
with
Michael.
Fanatics.
I don't know, honestly. So what it was when you told me that, or no, it was you. You said, Mike said that you still can't buy a Michael Harrison.
There were
a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey. So you still cannot purchase a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey, and I don't know why. I couldn't get a straight answer.
Okay.
I don't know if it's not from the Fanatics deal, because it's not, because what it is, it's with the NFL Players Association. So when a player gets drafted, they have to sign with the NFLPA. And then as soon as they sign that, then they can start using their likeness and start
licensing all that stuff.
Yeah, producing merchandise and stuff like that. But I don't know why it's still not available. I mean, I Googled it several times and I couldn't pull up his jersey. And then any article I tried to find, it was all from April or May. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's weird. But Mike, you were saying like Bo Brock or someone from PHNX tried recently in training camp, and they still weren't able to get it.
Those people who are covering the team were
he went at the stadium.
At the stadium. You can't even get it.
Oh.
So and normally if things are coming out first and foremost, it's happening at the stadium team shops, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not at Dick's. There's normally kind of things that are slow and rolling out to Dick's or Champ Sports or Just Sports, whatever, all those kind of places. Those secondary market places where you can get that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I mean,
the Fanatics
in the dark
deal,
here.
The Fanatics deal was like autographs and appearances. The Fanatics does not control his jerseys.
So we'll have to do a little bit of research. Maybe we'll do a post.
I don't think they do.
We'll do a post on what's going on.
Yeah,
Valley Sports
Has
Plug
he not
investigation.
signed
Can you please inform us?
Has he
on
not
what's
signed
going
his
on?
agreement with the NFLPA then?
No, he did. He did at the end of May.
So then what's the deal?
Yeah.
If it's been the end of May and people can't get it yet. So here's my task to you Cardinals fans, because this is something that I was already planning to do anyways. If you go on to Fanatics, is that the main one? What are some other outlets that you can kind of do personalized jerseys? Is there anything else?
I think there's NFLshop.com.
Okay, NFLshop.com.
I don't know if that links you to Fanatics.
Wherever you can get a good deal. Let's all go out, get us a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey, personalized, but on the back, you got to put Maserati Marv. That's how we do it, baby. That's what I'm doing. So follow the trend, man.
I love it. And then you can get Lamborghini Kyler and
Lambo K1.
Lambo K1.
Yeah,
there we go.
Lambo 1.
We'll all have our custom, and then it'll be like Ford Bronco Connor or something like that. I don't know what he drives.
He's got to have something nice in that. Dude, you know what's funny?
Broncos
I saw Marcus Golden out in the wild this week.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
What was he doing?
How do you even recognize him?
Circle K or whatever.
Oh, no
You
shit.
saw him at Circle K?
Yeah, you know, how did I recognize him?
Because they practice right there in
Well,
Tempe.
He was on the team forever.
He's got the dreads and shit, right?
Yeah. He had slimmed down a lot already, though.
Yeah.
He's
No, Tommy, he was
longer in the
wearing
league.
his helmet. He was going up to the soda fountain.
But you know what he was driving.
He's in the full
Which I wouldn't be
fucking
surprised with
uniform.
James. He was driving that G-Wagon.
The G-Wagon,
The
yeah,
big
the
old G-Wagon.
Mercedes.
Those
Yeah.
are nice. Those are expensive.
They all
Oh,
got nice.
man.
They all got nice ass cars. But guys, one last.
There you go. There's what he was supposed to do. Phase 1. Follow 10 fans on social media. Post 1 short form promotional video and make 1 public appearance. Phase 2. Required to make 5 social media posts. Follow 10 fans. Post 1 short form promotional video on social media. Have 1 media capture day. Blah, 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 blah. Make 1 60-minute fan experience. Make 1 Fanatics live virtual appearance, and 5 trading card swaps. He'd also be required to attend private signings and participate in fan meet and greets at each private signing. And what we're talking about, folks, is what Marvin Harrison Jr.'s contract was with Fanatics that currently is being litigated. That Harrison is arguing that there is actually no legitimate contract. Harrison was guaranteed $1.5 million during Phase 2. So basically, is there a Phase 3? I don't know. So it has nothing to do with his jersey.
Well, I hate all of that.
Yeah, it has nothing
I
to do with
hate
his
that
jersey.
so much. Why are you forcing? I get we live in this day and age of social media, but why are you forcing players to follow fans on social media?
That's so
you're
weird.
forcing
It's
them.
weird, huh?
First of all,
That
you're
is
forcing
weird.
them to have the social media. I mean, I get they all do inherently, but if they either want to keep it private, like I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate that so much.
Read the top paragraph.
Harrison's autograph fees during Phase 2 of the term sheet were to be $30 per autograph and $10 per inscription. If he had the first or second overall pick, his per autograph fee would increase.
Okay, so they're paying him for autographs.
But that's low.
So
$30?
That's dog shit.
Yeah, but dude, you all right? You sit down, you sign your name 1,000 times.
I mean, yeah, it's a good chunk of change.
You know
after
what I
that.
mean?
But how much are they
That's not
selling
bad,
it,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
200 minimum for whatever.
yeah.
Even if he's signing a little, one of those
Yeah.
replica football helmets. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
but it still doesn't tell us why you can't buy his jersey.
Well, and then
yet.
a lot of these people are going to turn around and go on Whatnot or Facebook and sell it in the marketplace and make even more money. So I think the whole thing originally was Marvin Harrison had his whole he had his own website where he was selling his own merchandise, he was selling his own autographs, stuff like that. Very interesting, very interesting. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about the off the field shit like that. I do care that his jersey's not available. That kind of sucks. But I'm gonna be really excited to see what they do on the field. I think I've already said it.
there he is.
I don't care about the preseason right now. I care about what happens week 1 and on. We are watching this Diamondbacks game. AJ Puck is making his Diamondbacks debut here in the 8th
beautiful
inning. Is it the 8th inning?
I think it's 8th, yeah.
They are currently up 9-5, I think. Been an interesting
That's
game.
disgusting nose blow right there.
Yeah, fuck that.
Homeboy got a cold, something going on in his sinuses.
But ladies and gentlemen, expect us to go deep on the Cardinals in August. I'm really very much looking forward to that. Last little odds and ends here before we close things out. Just some broad NFL news. Got some big quarterback contracts that broke in the last week. It was Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. I think it was just yesterday or today. 4 years, $220 million. And Tua Tagovailoa, 4 years, $212.4 million. So I think, I don't know if it was Tallman or Mike here brought up the fact that we all kind of threw up in our mouths a little bit over the Kyler Murray contract. But now,
Well, no,
Oh,
he said that
sorry,
now
go
it
ahead.
looks like chump change comparative to what's happening.
It makes Kyler Murray's contract look like an absolute bargain.
Yeah.
because Kyler's was
Yeah.
5 years for about that, 220,
And
230,
that's
something like
that's
that.
the practice now. It's like, okay, you're going to have this go back and forth over a deal, no, we're not going to pay you now. We're going to pay you next year. Like, no, pay him now because next year you're going to pay him even more. You know?
I guess
so.
My question would be, as we're talking within that context, I would say Kyler's better than both of those guys. Would you agree?
Better than Tua.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I mean, even though Tua had a hell of a year last year, man.
Yeah.
He really did.
He did.
Jordan Love, I mean, he's got one year under his belt, right? So, and I say 1 year. Obviously, he's been in the league longer, but 1 year of being relevant.
Well, and Jordan Love's working
that.
with less weapons-wise. Like, Tua had Tyreek Hill and Eric Waddle and, like...
Jalen
Waddle, excuse me.
Yeah, but then he had Mostert and a chain or whatever.
He was doing a lot of dink and dunk stuff.
They had an incredible running game. I mean, Mostert scored 18 touchdowns. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, so it's hard to say is he better than them, but the way to put it up is, okay, so you're starting a team right now. So Chris, you're creating a football team. All right, you get to pick your quarterback. You can pick Jordan Love right now, Kyler Murray, or Tua. Who are you picking? Who's your starting quarterback out of those three? You're starting a football team from scratch.
It might be Tua.
Yeah. See,
the homer in me wants to say Kyler.
Yeah,
the homer in me wants to say Kyler.
It's hard to compare them because obviously it depends on what's going on around you. Like, look at Brock Purdy. Would you want to start off with Brock Purdy as your quarterback? Okay, yeah, if I have the rest of the San Francisco 49ers team, but no, it's different. So you said Tua.
Maybe. I'm trying to be unbiased as possible here, but Tua does, it's not fair, but Tua does come with a bit of an injury history.
I mean, he's had a lot of concussions.
He got his melon rocked a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're starting from where they're at, what you've seen from them in their entire career and everything, it might be Kyler, but it's always going to be those same concerns for Kyler.
It's hard. It's so close. Where it's it's almost
really
like you can't go wrong with any of them. Mm-hmm. But then there's also not a clear cut number one. Where it's not like Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, or Tua. Well, I'm gonna fucking pick Patrick Mahomes. Come on, man. What are you talking about? So there's no clear cut number one in that trio. But Love, I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough of Love. And
yeah, that's kind of that's always been my standpoint in regard to most of that kind of stuff, right? He's not a proven commodity. He only has 1 year under his belt. Yes, he did win a playoff game. He has a lot of promise for sure, but it's hard to stomach that amount of money for a guy who is literally just has 1 year of tape.
Was
on
it
him.
212, 4 years?
For Love or Tua? Love got the most. He got 4 years, 220. Tua got 4 years, 212.
He got 220.
But
yeah.
So what? 212. So 6. So that's 53 million a year for Tua.
Yeah,
but I think
and then 55 million a year for Love.
Yeah,
holy hell!
But the same way that we talked about, now it looks like pennies on the dollar for what Kyler Murray got.
It's a bargain.
That's just where we are, I guess, in terms of contracts. You could probably say specifically for quarterbacks, right? You got to jump the gun. You kind of got to get in front of this kind of stuff right away because the levels just keep going up and up and up and up, and then the next guy is going to be the highest paid quarterback ever, and the next guy, and then we're looking 3 years down the road. Maybe Jordan Love has won multiple playoff games, it has an NFC championship, something like that, and then they're saying, well, at least we're not paying him $60 million a year.
Right.
You know, like that's
everything.
Where we're at in today's NFL right now.
But what's crazy is just the amount of just the salaries of some of these quarterbacks in the NFL is crazy, and because what I'm gonna pull up here is a list of the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL, because I know for a fact that Patrick Mahomes, who is, you guys agree, the best quarterback in the league?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I bet you right now, I'm gonna pull up the list. I bet you he's 7th or 8th on that list.
You think?
Yeah.
Didn't he just sign a new contract last year? I mean, Josh Allen's going to be on
Can
that
he sign
list.
that 10-year deal?
Yeah, he signed.
It was like
signed
a big
huge,
fatty deal. Yeah, it was like $500 million or something like that.
All right, let's see if we have a list. Okay,
Trevor Lawrence,
50.
Joe
All right,
Burrow.
so Lawrence 55 million. I'm on one of those whack ass fucking websites.
No, advertisements,
All right.
Tallman.
Get it
Okay,
out.
here we
So
go.
Lawrence 55 million, Burrow 55 million, Jordan Love, welcome to the club, 55 million, Tua 53.1 million, Jared Goff with a nice 53 million, Justin Herbert, who was fucking accomplished 0 in the NFL, 52.5 million, Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, 52 million, Jalen Hurts, he's a hell of a player, 51 million, Kyler Murray, 46.1 million, Deshaun Watson loves getting massages, 46 million, Kirk Cousins, 45 million, just coming off an Achilles tear. Is that what it was?
I think so.
Then you have your boy Kermit the Frog, Patrick Mahomes,
Damn, so he's
45
10.
million. So I told you guys.
but what this-
You thought I was lying.
But what this list doesn't show is the duration of the contract and the security that Patrick Mahomes' contract brings him.
correct.
So on a year-to-year basis, it might be a
it
little.
shows you the record. Look at that.
That's incredible.
20 and 30 for Trevor Lawrence.
Jared Goff 66, 50 and 1. Lamar Jackson 58 and 19.
Are you
That's
serious?
incredible.
And
Look
he
at-
negotiated that himself. He doesn't have an agent.
Look at Jordan Love's
That's
9
insane.
and 9.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, because it probably include the playoffs.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts 34-17. That's great.
74 and 22 for Pat Mahomes.
Look at
Pretty
Kyler.
damn good.
Kyler's the only one with the losing record on this list.
No, it wasn't.
28, 36 and 1. Yeah, I think so.
No,
Oh no, sorry.
Herbert.
Herbert's 30. Okay,
but
so
wait.
No, keep going. Keep going up.
Jordan loves you.
Oh, Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
the
bad. Yeah,
number
that was
one guy.
the first one I read was 2030. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's a little more nuanced than
So
just
what?
looking
There's
at the per
1,
year.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 quarterbacks right now making more money than Patrick Mahomes, and Kyler Murray is one of them.
Yeah. I mean, again, like the security and the length of the contract is a big part of it, but that's a great point. And to your point, Mike, like we're just going to continue to see that the next year's quarterbacks are going to make more the year after that and the year after that. It's just going to keep going up and up. We all know the state of the economy. This is a sports podcast, but it's just the nature. We see it in every sport. We see it in basketball. We see it in baseball, where it's always the biggest contract ever, the biggest contract ever. But then even like when we were doing our trivia stream, we're talking about adjusted for inflation, and Gone with the Wind is the highest grossing film of all time. And that came out in like what, the 50s, the 40s,
He was the 30s.
the 30s,
Wasn't it
Yeah,
the 30s?
something like that. It's an old ass
Yeah.
movie. So every year at the time, something is going to be making the most. But I don't know. I think that is crazy, and it's just something we got to get used to. But fellas, it's been a good Heat Check Pod 31. I think I'm ready to get on out of here. So let's pass it to Mike. What are your last thoughts, brother?
Football is here, baby. That's it. Diamondbacks. Puck. He's rocking it right now. About
Puck.
to shut down the 8th.
Puck, yeah.
Clean inning.
Look at that.
Let's go.
Looking to take another series from the Diamondbacks. Oh, man, it's hot here in Arizona, but we are right in the thick of it with the Diamondbacks and football right around the corner, man. It's a beautiful time of year. As always, gentlemen, appreciate you guys.
Always a pleasure, never a chore, Mr. Benjamin Tallman.
Love you, Mike. Guys, I want to paint a plate. I want to go to Cedar Point, and Christopher Heath has my toothbrush. But all jokes aside, Jesus Christ, I want you guys all out there to mark your calendar right flipping now. Fucking now.
Why are you
Sorry.
holding back?
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm like worried. I feel
you're
like
fine.
that.
You
there's-
came out hot
there's
in
an
the first
issue.
5
I did.
minutes, and now you're
I
holding
think- I
back in
think
the
I
last
said,
5
I
minutes.
said the F word within like the first 5 minutes of this recording. But mark your calendars right now. August 17th is the VSP NFL Fantasy Football Straight Ballin' 2024 Draft. We're coming at you live, baby, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you mark that and you follow along with us because I cannot wait.
I'm so glad you brought it up because that is probably our biggest stream of the year, production wise. We put a lot of.
We bit off more than we could chew last year.
What are you talking about?
I think we did pretty good.
We handled it well, but I was like, holy shit.
We did a lot, but I think we pulled it off.
Dude, it took like 5 fucking hours.
Yeah, it was not a quick stream. That is for sure. That is still up on our YouTube page, so make sure you go check that out. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Valley Sports Plug on YouTube, at AZ_VSP on Instagram, TikTok, and X. Last plugs. Guys, this has been an absolute blast. I'm really optimistic for the Valley sports scene in general. Mike said we got Tyus Jones. We're going to have Pass the Outlet live stream this week, so be looking out for that as well. We're going to talk about what's going on with the U.S. Olympic team as they get ready to take the court in Paris, looking for gold. Olympics are already underway, guys. The USA has 1 gold medal. It was in the 4x100 relay. Expect more to be coming down the pipe. It's a good time for sports, and it's crazy because it's the summer, and really it's only baseball that's actually happening, but behind the scenes, preseason, gearing up, there's a ton of it. So stay tuned. There's going to be plenty to come at you. But for Michael Benjamin, VSP Tallman, I'm Chris Patrick, and we'll see you soon. Peace.